Hello adventurers, I'm Gray and welcome to another Hytale blog update. Now today's update is pretty important because it is about building with blocks in Hytale. But before I get to that, I just want to mention, anyone who's looking forward to that Hytale in-depth trailer analysis I'm working on, I'm sorry it'll be at least another week. I had a very busy past week with midterms at college, and spring break is next week, so I'll have a chance to really work hard and dive straight into all of that stuff. I'm pretty busy today though, so without further ado, let's just dive straight into it. So this update is about the basics of building in the most simple way possible, just to explain exactly how it works. And they're just starting off simple and they're going to get more in depth with it later on. To start out, they talk about HightoMono Maker, which was discussed before, but basically, if you haven't heard, it allows you to make your own custom models and designs and import them into the game, be it blocks, roofs, NPCs and characters and creatures, basically anything you can add to the game. And that is implemented into the building system, where you can add all sorts of custom blocks and decor and use it to customize your own worlds, which they're going to talk more about that along with builder tools, freeform building, creating your own worlds, and more in future blog posts. For now, it's just basic building in adventure mode using blocks from Zone 1. There are many variations to blocks that you can place in Hytale, and one block can result in many different variants of that same basic design. For example, right here we have 4 blocks, each derived from the same basic stone material. So you can find stone all around the world, just underground, but it looks like you'll be able to customize it into all sorts of different shapes and patterns based on what you want to design. So the one on the far left has sort of a diamond shape on the side. It's more of a decorative block, it looks like. You could use it to accent maybe a corner of a build, something like that, something you want to stand out. The one beside that looks like a good wall block, if you want to add a little texture, a pattern onto your walls. The one to the right looks more like a generic stone, sort of a smooth stone, I'd think of from Minecraft. And there's going to be a lot of Minecraft comparisons here, because that's inherent in comparing the building styles, you know. And to the right of that looks like a Minecraft stone brick, a basic stone brick. Now what this reminds me of, like really reminds me of, is the Chisel Mod from Minecraft. If you haven't heard of it, it's a pretty well-known mod, especially today, where it's in basically every mod pack I see now. And the Chisel Mod, what it does is it's very simple. It adds one item to the game, a chisel, that you can make out of every material you can make a tool out of, wood, stone, etc. But with the chisel, it opens up a new crafting inventory, and you put a block in there, and it opens up like 50 variations of that block that you can use in custom designs and things like that. It looks similar here, where you take one stone block and you can customize it however you want, which will open up so many possibilities for building that I'm really excited to see. Next we have the different building blocks you can create out of quartzite, which as far as I know is a newly revealed building block. And I believe that it's something that you will just find around the world, kind of like how you find stone. It's a very common thing, except it looks a little bit more sandstone-y, if you know what I mean. I think the block at the very bottom left is the basic block, and it looks sort of like a sandstone type thing. I'm not sure if it'll be a desert thing, or if it'll just be mixed in underground with stone, kind of like another variation of stone you'll find underground. We'll just have to see once the game comes out. But here you can see the basic block at the bottom left, along with roof blocks, stair blocks, wall blocks, pillars, slabs, and beams. And you can see 5 variations of the basic block other than the default, along with 3 different types of slabs, 2 types of stairs, 2 types of, I think, beams or walls. I'm not quite sure which is beam and which is wall. There's a column and the roofs at the top. And it looks like there's 2 variations of the roof, one with a sort of stone pillar going through it, and one with a wooden beam going through it, and I'm not sure what they're there for. That's very curious. I guess it's just decor though. Right here they go into the different types of blocks specifically, starting with slabs. So if we zoom in on this video, they show a very important detail. Slabs can be placed sideways on walls, which is something you can never do in Minecraft. Like if you tried to place slabs on the walls like that, it would just form a flat line against the wall. And it's good for bridges, but not very good for decor. This I'm pretty excited about, because this will allow you to make things like arches, as it shows here, windows, doors, like all sorts of things, so much more detailed and have a lot more depth in their design, you know. What I am wondering is, will you still be able to do what you can do in Minecraft and place slabs sideways on walls? Is that going to be an option, or is it always going to be vertical on the walls? We'll have to see once again. That hasn't been confirmed at all. This next one, which is stairs, is probably the most similar one to the way Minecraft works. You zoom in on these and you can see that they basically work exactly the same. You place them, they work as stairs, you can go up, and if you place one this way and then one this way, for example, they'll curve around and form a sort of smooth, or a sharp turn, but there won't be anything in the middle that makes it look weird. It'll just be a perfect stairs just going around corners and things like that. And that's how Minecraft works too. So, simple, makes sense. If it works well, why change it? That's basically the mentality that I'm getting here. Here we have beams, which is different from walls in certain ways, it seems, because beams are focused on making narrow connections, which I think would work really well in things like creating beams on the roof to make it seem like your roof is being held up, or maybe using it to make scarecrows and stuff like that. But you can see here there's 3 different types of beams being shown, with quartzite on the bottom, wood on the left and top, and stone on the right in this really blurry frozen video. Which is interesting. They're really showing off only these 3 blocks, it looks like, because they don't want to show off too much. There's a big focus on quartzite in this blog update. I guess that's a big new block that they're showing off here. Which is fine. Just slowly drip feed info. It gives me more content to talk about every week. Thanks, Hytale Studios. Hypixel Studios. I don't even know your name. We have wall blocks here though, and wall blocks remind me of Minecraft fences more than Minecraft's walls. Because if you look in between the different wall blocks here, there's sort of gaps in between them. Whereas if you have Minecraft walls, they all combine to form a solid line. So this sort of reminds me of fences, with the main difference being, it's like fences if you put a half slab on top of them to form a solid surface on top. Which is interesting. What I'm curious about is, will we be able to jump over this? Is it going to be 1 block tall and we can hop over it on our own? Or is it going to be like Minecraft fences where you have to like build another block to get over it because it's bigger than you can jump? I'm kind of hoping that we can just jump straight over it, whereas friendly creatures like animals and monsters won't be able to jump over it. That way we can use it as a pen for animals without much problems. I'm not sure if that'll be the case, but that would be really nice. Pillars are shown off here, which is a more decorative vanity item, sort of. It's not really necessary to form walls of a structure or roofs or floors, but it does add a nice decorative touch that makes your build feel more alive and real. So if you put it in a cave like this, it looks like it's holding sort of the ceiling up so the cave doesn't collapse on itself. And here in particular, it looks like it's being used for a dungeon because it has a chest at the bottom right that you could find as loot. And interestingly, there's another pillar at the right side, kind of holding up a design structure, keeping it from collapsing. I know it's not really keeping it from collapsing, it makes it look like it is, which is a nice decorative touch, and I'm excited to see what people are able to make with these new types of decorative blocks, which I'm sure there's much more of than this. And pillars provide an example of how HightoMono Maker can expand the range of options, so people are going to be adding things like pillars, along with basically anything else they can dream up using HightoMono Maker. Next we have roof blocks, which here's roof tiles. They look pretty nice. This is another example of HightoMono Maker and how you can customize your own roofs, give them depth, give them detail, and throw them on to make a nice looking, realistic roof to your build. Unfortunately, this house looks like it's made for an ant because it's only 1 block tall, so I don't know how well we'll be living in this one. But at the very least, it shows that the roofs can be quite detailed. It can be flat, it can be curved, and it has some nice transitions in between corners too if you want to have that. It says that there will be other variants like thatched roofing available too, though I assume there will be much more than just these 2 in the future. Here we have decorative elements like ivy, which reminds me of Minecraft's vines, except I think the ivy looks nicer than Minecraft vines ever did. Vines always felt more wild and felt weird to put them on the sides of builds, whereas ivy looks like it adds a touch of nature that looks very natural. I know it's redundant, but what I'm curious is, will you be able to climb these? My guess is no, because ivy tends not to be that strong unless it's really old, thick ivy. Don't try climbing ivy, by the way, that's dangerous. And it could be poison ivy, so be very careful. I don't think we'll be able to climb these, but it is a nice decoration. Along with that, you can see different variations of quartzite in the background here, along with different variations of what looks like cobblestone, including mossy cobble on the left side, just in the corner. I might go with more in-depth analyses of these images in the future. Tell me if you want to see that. Here we have furniture sets, where it goes into detail about how you can combine specific furniture sets that you craft, such as chairs, tables, candles, bookcases, along with the basic blocks, like the stairs, the slabs, and things like that, like columns, in order to make a nice fireplace in a cozy home, which I think is a nice little showcase. All the rest of this blog post are practical showcases of building, so I don't really have too much to say about it. Starting off with this mansion that's being built here. Now, whoever's building this clearly has better build skills than I ever will have, but I'm pretty excited to try, at the very least, experimenting with these blocks and making something entirely unique and different from what I could just make in Minecraft. Minecraft was somewhat limited, you had to improvise to make something look good. This one, it looks like it has window frames, it has like sort of bamboo walls and some things. Like, these aren't bamboo, but you can tell that the walls here have like wood going through it, kind of reinforcing it. I don't know what that's called, I'm not an architect. It has window frames, which I'm not sure are trapdoors or window frames, but they have sort of either what looks like a heart or a chicken or something, like a pattern inside of it, which makes me inclined to think it's more of a window frame than a trapdoor. We'll just have to see though. The glass has bars going through it, kind of. Either that or it's just like different layers of glass, like 6 glass squares just patterned within the window, which makes a nice little effect for the sort of cozy mansion they have in the nature here. I assume there will be many variations of glass later on, including stained glass, clear glass, etc. I'm rambling a little bit, but I'm just really excited about the building, because that's a big part. I would argue that's one of the main tenets of these types of games: building and adventuring, crafting and mining. Finally, we have 3 different builds that were made here by Rodan and by Captain Charles. And the previous build was made by Propsy, which is that mansion, which is done piece by piece, starting with a simple block outline. Really nice build. And these are just some inspirational builds that you can see here. Starting with Rodan's castle, looks really nice. I like how the waterfalls are kind of flowing underneath this bridge going above it. It reminds me of a Harry Potter type thing, though not as big of a castle as Harry Potter's ever was. It looks nice though, I really like it, and I like this big bridge you have going out front. Next we have another castle by Rodan, who seems to be a pretty prolific builder here. This is a nice castle. I like this one even more than the first one, just because you can see more of it, but it has some nice details to it. Like, you can see a little, like, what looks like a lion or a dragon or something like that or a tiger at the top left, kind of sticking out, made out of stone. You have a crane that's constructing the whole thing. You have a nice emblem in the middle of the castle signifying what it is. The main thing that I see that's new here is I see these wooden sort of fences that have spikes at the top, kind of like what you'd put in medieval villages to defend yourself from invaders so they wouldn't climb over the walls. I'm not sure if that's been revealed before, but it looks really interesting, and I'm wondering if that's a part of a furniture set, or if there's an item you can put on top of a wood wall or something like that, or a wood pole, in order to shave off the top and make it spiky. I'm curious as to what that is, and I'm sure there's many more details in here that I'm missing, but I'll look into the detailed stuff later on. Finally, we have Palace by Captain Charles, which looks like a Japanese palace. I've actually seen these up close because I've been to Japan. It's a really cool trip, but this looks really good. I like it. And it sort of has the roof design that Japanese temples have. It has sakura trees, or cherry blossoms you could call them, with pink leaves on them. Looks like they're blossoming right now. Overall, I really like all these builds, and hopefully they inspire you guys to try some cool stuff once the game comes out, with all the new build options that are available here. And that's basically all for now. This is a pretty simple blog update, but I'm still excited to see what we can make within Hytale once it releases. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and I hope to see you all on the next adventure.